Wreaths Across America, an annual tradition to honor U.S. military veterans, is underway now. The annual week-long journey from Arlington, Maine to Arlington, Virginia started in 1992 when the owner of Worcester Wreaths, Morrill Worcester, decided to lay his extra wreaths on the graves of veterans buried at Arlington National Cemetery. Today, it's become a nationally recognized event, with events taking place from Maine to Virginia leading up to December 13th, which is now known as National Wreaths Across America Day. Well, today, the convoy will parade through Millbridge at 7:45. It's then going to be making a stop at the Downey's Family YMCA in Ellsworth for an indoor ceremony at 9:10 this morning. There will be music, guest speakers, and a welcome home observance. Parking will be made available in front of the Mill Mall, Hammond Lumber, or at Ellsworth Middle School. Meanwhile, Herman High School will be hosting a Wreaths Across America ceremony today as well. The convoy is expected to arrive there at 11:45, with a ceremony to begin at 12:15. The community will come together to remember the fallen, honor those who serve, and teach the next generation the value of freedom. Those attending today's ceremony in Herman should park behind Herman High School near the gym entrance. Overflow parking will be made available across the street in Danforth Plaza. The convoy will then move to Gardner Regional Middle School at 3:15 today, with a ceremony at 3:40. It will arrive in Portland later this evening and will stay in southern Maine until it moves down to Massachusetts tomorrow.